Hey everyone, and welcome to the Bread and Bone podcast. So here we're going to be running a D&D campaign called Lords of the Nine, with hopefully weekly episode releases. There's going to be 9 players for this campaign, and before you say that sounds like a horrible idea, first know, very rarely in this series will all 9 characters be in the same episode. As this campaign's Dungeon Master, I'm taking on such a large amount of players because I'm doing something kind of unique with this one. Gonna split the players up into groups of 3 to 5 and run sessions for them in the same storyline with sort of arcs which parallel each other in the timeline and introduce certain story elements to each group. So the episodes will kind of switch between characters, but they'll all be building to kind of a same overall story arc, which will be very interesting. There will be times in the campaign when everyone does meet up, and that'll be exciting, but it's also pretty crazy to do that super often. Not only because of the logistical reasons, but also because I'm sure as the audience, it might get hard to follow so many characters in the same episode. So yeah, I think the way it'll be organized will be very interesting though, and I hope you enjoy how it all plays out. So this is the official beginning of the campaign, where we start in the land of Blumenkranz, an ideal fantasy realm, save for the political unease that it's experiencing. This episode will introduce 2 of the characters and also serve as a formal introduction to the series and the world we are embarking on creating here. This has been your Dungeon Master, and this is the Bread and Bone podcast with Lords of the Nine. This kingdom looks very nice. It has, gorgeous mountains in the background that you can see, for miles. Gorgeous, emerald green fields. There are many castles. There's, live folk peasants that are always just going around and very talkative, very chatty. And just walking by them, you can just hear them talking about their very wonderful lives. Of course, I'm talking about Blumenkranz before the Ruby King. Once the Ruby King came, the general liveliness kind of dies down. People are more
What do you mean
fearful.
exactly? Once he came.
Okay, so you're talking specifics about his.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not at all. Not at all. My character would have not been in the city very long, so he probably wouldn't have seen the good city.
No, he wouldn't have. Dia would though.
I would have, yes.
Dia would know exactly what it was like before. I guess by the time Cobb enters Blumenkranz. And also, it's a kingdom, not a city, by the way. It covers an entire area of land, and you'd be in now one of the villages near the capital.
Okay.
Anyway, so
they're all kind of connected in a web network.
Yeah, they are. And there's roads that kind of connect them all to the main city in the middle. Yeah. There's the Castle Blumenkranz. That's where the Ruby King sits. So he took the castle alone. He has no guards or anything like that came with him. He just literally came in alone and took it. And now there are guards that serve him, but there also are many that don't, or that they do reluctantly. But yeah, the general peasant folk, since literally no one likes him, they're always just bad mouthing this new king because he's disrupting the order that they normally have, which is just a general courteousness to each other, general peace, and kind of the government not really having much of an influence on their lives, just there to kind of manage things and then let them live. And this Ruby King, of course, is not like that, and we'll get into that. So we're going to start in a certain place that Dia is very familiar with, namely the Holy Order Assembly in the Blumenkranz barracks. So it's somewhere where you'd kind of spend a lot of your time,
right?
When you're not out in the field. Common roles for the soldiers in the last few years are just very menial tasks, if any trolls cross the borders, they're just sent to kind of ward them off, not even really to kill them or anything, just kind of to talk them down.
Yes.
And so once the Ruby King came in, now you're getting some more interesting jobs, not necessarily good ones. So, all right. So you're in a line. In a row, I guess, and there are multiple lines of more holy soldiers. There aren't very many paladins, though. You're one of the only few, and you're the youngest, and the shortest.
Thanks.
And so, there's a lineup of people, kind of when you have like the convicts and they all kind of get out of their cells and line.
Right.
And so the warden can come and like check on all of them. It's like that, and so there's like mostly very tall men or elves, and then there's you, who's like 3 foot something.
Yeah. Rough life being a halfling.
And so the not a warden, but the commander, a man that you know, his commander Igor Rauch. Yeah. So he's walking up and down the lines, looking up the soldiers, seeing that they're in good shape. You're expected to do a lot of like either physical labor or heavy exercise every day. So Rauch walks by and he says, "We have orders from the Ruby King now. You are all supposed to follow them. We are to go to the houses of each village that is connected to the capital. We are to ask for an increase in taxes 4 times. And if they cannot pay, we are to take their firstborn as a new recruit in the army. You are to carry out these orders without question." So you can see around you, like many of the soldiers are trying to kind of like hold back angry scowls at this. What is Daya's reaction?
Well, she's gonna stay quiet for the moment being, just to see what else everyone else around her is thinking, but it appears that they're thinking the same thing she is.
They
This
are.
isn't right.
Mm-hmm. In fact, you've never gotten an order like this ever in your life.
Yeah. No, this isn't right for why I joined the army.
Mm-hmm. So Igor is walking up and down, kind of like trying to see, people's reactions. He's trying to gauge if people are committed to these new orders, because he knows that generally people are not happy with the Ruby King.
Yes.
So he goes up to one of the soldiers. You know this guy, his name's Brahms. And he's just like, Brahms? What say you? Will you fill out this order to its full requirements? And Brahms is just like, yes. Yes, my command. And he like puts his head down and doesn't really make eye contact. Then he walks over to you.
Oh, dang.
And how about you, Diamanda? You're gonna carry out these orders to their full requirements. Answer me!
Well, who gave these orders?
The Ruby King himself. I talked directly to him.
And what's his reasoning for this?
You're a soldier. You're not meant to question the reasoning behind these orders. The Ruby King has his reasons, and as the greatest monarch Blumenkranz has ever seen, he is never wrong.
Right.
I sense sarcasm.
Right.
Does anyone else share the same attitude as this rebellious young soldier who thinks she can talk back to the Ruby King and his representatives? Some other soldiers are kind of like, trying to hold back their smiles. So be it. Will you comply or will you not?
If I must, I will.
And you must. Alright then. On with it. You are to go in pairs of 4, or groups of 4. And I will send you to various locations. Alright. And then he kind of like starts to organize them. He sends like some people to this place and people to this place. He puts you with like 3 other people, and you have never seen these soldiers much.
Right.
Yeah, one of them is Brahms, but like other than that, you don't know. And he's just like, alright, seems like you're going to Falconer.
Falconer. Alright.
Gives you a map of Falconer. Now off! By the end of the day, you should have collected 4 times today's normal taxation. Or the Ruby King will be very displeased, and so will I. Now get on with it! And, yeah, that.
And what is Cobb doing at this point in time?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess all the soldiers will marshal out. And Cobb, so you are in Faulkner. And you know that this is the place where possibly you might find your tomes.
Cobb looks around, and at this point, after so long of looking around in different cities across the lands, he is almost void of hope. He thinks to himself, and mutters out loud, very quietly, "If fate is what binds me, then I must be bound by fate, for fate itself is the tendrils of life within itself." And he looks on into the sun. His alabaster mask conceals his facial expression, though it is illuminated, if you will, with a new sense of hope, for he can experience this beauty once again.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And he moves on.
So yeah, there are some peasants that are kind of like working the land, and they're kind of talking quietly to each other. And as they see you walking by, they kind of like huddle together, and they look at you, you know, like you're some kind of strange entity.
His large alabaster mask turns to them.
What are you?
And then his robes, like his large gray robes that stretch all over and have lines all over them, in like a pattern. His head turns, and then his rest of his body turns, almost like a robot. And there are some subtle sounds as he turns. He then is like, "I mean you no harm. I am just a hermit passing through."
I'd say roll persuasion.
And he thinks to himself, and he's like, "If only I had the guidance of Sustrus." He will not have guidance at this point in time. 23. The first roll of the campaign.
Very good. Yeah, the first roll of the campaign is pretty good.
Good.
And it would have been at least one higher if I had my
guidance.
home of resonance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Soon. So, alright, so the person you're talking to is like maybe a woman who's about in her 30s. And she has like some young children around. And she has like blonde hair and pigtails. And when she saw you, her face like, you know, coiled up, and she was like pretty scared by your appearance. But after you say that, she seems oddly calm, and she's just like, "I'm sorry. See, we've been judging people as harshly as they've been coming in now. See, after the Ruby King, you can't really trust outsiders. He just waltzed in here and took over a kingdom. It's bizarre, I know, but..."
Who is this Ruby King which you speak of? I've heard of him, but I don't know much of him.
He's a tyrant. He's awful. You see, the Schwarzbergs were the kings for, I don't know, 8 decades. Yes, 8 decades.
8
before.
decades. Well,
a very long time.
I suppose it would make sense for them to pass, for fate never keeps one thing the same for too long.
She doesn't really get what you mean, but she says, "Well, perhaps, but it's still sad, the fact that the Ruby King changed everything. You see, the atmosphere you will see around you in Blumenkranz is not what it usually is like, but hopefully there will be some heroes that come and save us, because people have tried and all failed."
His alabaster mask kind of, it doesn't lift, but like he looks up to the sky, obviously pondering, and he muses, "Huh, a hero, a savior, a saint. Once the day comes, I may return to the Thrine of Octon and be beseeched by myself."
The Thrine of Octon? And I guess we should probably explain the time system, right? There are how many? There are 5 weeks in a month, and there are 6 days in a week, and they all have a specific name and suffix.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so the Thrine of Octon refers to a specific day.
Thrine of Octon refers to the
8th
second
month?
week of, or the 3rd day of the 2nd week of the 8th month.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, so this woman with pigtails, she says, "The Thrine of Octon. What happened on the Thrine of Octon?"
Well, and he thinks to himself, "No matter.
All right. Well, be on your way, traveler. I'm sorry for judging you.
There's no problem.
Good luck on whatever you're doing.
And he turns to himself, or he turns away, and he mutters to himself, "A life-changing event." Before he walks on.
All right.
I'm intrigued now.
Back to you.
Hello.
Okay, so
I'm taking taxes and children. I'm not sure about the children yet.
well, you go to the first house. It's like a cozy European style home. It has like kind of like white paint on it and like kind of red trim on the sides. Has like a flat roof.
And what's the army name again?
The army you're part of?
Yes.
The Holy Order of Blumenkranz.
The Holy Order of Blumenkranz. All right.
And all right, so yeah, the first house. So you, Brahms, who looks like he has like black hair and he's pretty tall. He may be a half elf. He kind of has those kind of features. And then the other two are wearing helmets, and you haven't seen their faces before.
All right. The Holy Order of Blumenkranz? Open up.
No one hears you.
Open up.
From the window, you can see someone peeking.
I wave at them. Hello, open up, please.
Oh, it's like an old man. You can see he's kind of like not really looking in your direction completely. And then he closes the curtains. And then like a minute passes. And then suddenly and he opens the door and he's very hunched over, he's very old, he's like pretty much bald. And he's just like, "Hello! The Holy Knights are here. What could they want from me?"
I think to myself, only your money, but hello, good sir. We're here to collect taxes.
Oh, not again.
Oh, but again.
Well, so be it. The regular, of course.
Not the regular, actually.
Oh. Well, the Ruby King hasn't raised it too high, I suppose, right?
I would say it's too high, so yes, he has raised it too high, but that's not for me to decide.
I suppose not, but you see, things haven't been great recently. I haven't been able to get as much revenue, and he takes out like a small pouch of gold. He's
right.
Like, "I'm afraid this is all I have. I don't know if it's enough." But
all right. How many gold pieces or cash?
About 7 gold below what he's supposed to give.
Right.
And he has about 8 gold there.
Okay, so this is only half the amount, sir.
Oh dear, but what can I do? You see, my son, he's working as hard as he can in the fields. I'm too old to be able to. I mean, you could talk to him. Maybe he has a stash lying around.
Yes, of course. I'll have to do that. I'll just talk to him.
All right.
Which field is just out back?
Yes, just out back. It's a few minutes walk.
All right.
And he coughs.
I feel horrible.
So
this is why I shouldn't be lawful good.
Yeah.
Like, oh well.
looks at you and he's just like, "This is wrong."
I know, Bronze.
And then the 2 knights behind you kind of like say nothing.
Yeah, they seem to show lots of character.
Yeah. It's very strange. They haven't said anything the entire trip.
Okay, I have suspicions now. But nonetheless,
the old man's just like, "Are you coming?"
Yes, of course. All right.
We just walk through his house.
Yeah, we just walk through his house. Yeah.
So the back, you can see there's like a little path. He's like, "Come on, my son should be working here." Heinzel, where are you? And you can tell like he doesn't really know where he's going anymore. Like he's kind of like the sun's bright. His eyesight's already kind of bad. It's like, "You should be able to find him in the fields."
Yes. Thank you, good sir. Have a good day.
Yes. And then you can see Heinzel. He's kind of like, he has no shirt on. It's like a really hot day. He's just like working really hard, wiping sweat off his brow. You can see his wife's working with him too.
Stop!
And she's just like, she's raking and, they're trying to make way for like new crops, basically.
This is the first of like this entire town.
Yeah.
I feel horrible already. Thanks.
And so he sees some soldiers coming up, and instantly he like stops what he's doing, and he's just like, "Whoa, I'm the wrong one. You got the wrong guy."
Oh, you got the wrong idea. Don't worry.
Oh, why are you here?
We're here collecting taxes for the Ruby King.
Taxes, but I'm sure my father has the required amount.
He's increased it fourfold, you see.
Fourfold? Damn the Ruby King! He's more of a bastard than we've all been talking about. No one can pay for this, you know that.
I know.
How many people have you already robbed?
This is the first place we've stopped at.
Hopefully it'll be the last. Go back to your Ruby King now and tell him that we'll have none of it. The people of Blumenkranz are stronger than this.
I feel horrible. You do realize that. If you just comply, I'm sure everything will work out in the end.
You know that's not true. The Ruby King is strong-willed. No one's been able to stop him. He'll do whatever he wants. He's probably raising some kind of wretched army for some terrible end. Brahms looks at you and he's like, that's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah, I know. I say that quietly to Bronze. But, pay the required amount, then your family will be safe.
How about this? He takes out, like, more gold, and he's
Yeah.
like, he goes over to his wife and, like, talks a little bit, and she takes out more gold.
Yeah.
And they give you 35 gold. And they're like, this is probably beyond the amount that the Ruby King is asking for. Take the rest for yourself. And hopefully this will inspire you to do something. Make this the last house you stop at. Now go on, let me work.
Okay, so I feel horrible. Like, my chest aches right now. At least I don't have to take away his firstborn, which is also a guy old enough to have a wife. But, this isn't right. I know that. This isn't anything Gutenberg would teach. This is bad. I know it's bad, but I'm also in the army. But it's the army that's supposed to follow Gutenberg's teachings, but the Ruby King is there, so we're not following his teachings, so it's...
Is this entirely an internal monologue?
This is internal monologue. Yeah, I'm not saying this to anyone, but... Alright.
I'm gonna go to Pod for now.
Alright.
Thank you.
So Cobb was just walking to... Oh, and he actually had... He knew a little piece of information. Emil Whitticus.
Yes.
He has a mansion library that might have the Tome of Resonance. It's small, but I have gotten a little tip that it might be there because I've searched in many large libraries and it was not found there, as it is a very obscure book.
So Faulkner is bustling. You have no idea right now where this mansion is.
Are there any churches in this place?
Churches? Oh yeah, of course. There are always churches of Gutenberg.
I will go to the nearest chapel of Gutenberg.
Mm-hmm. There's small buildings that are mostly just tall, and they're not very roomy. And yeah, the door's open. People can just kind of walk in, and there are like pews and.
My character has enough. Is Gutenberg a new god, or is it like have they been around for a long time?
For you, pretty new.
Gutenberg has been around for a couple hundred years.
Okay,
but
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, could I do a religion check to know the alignment
Yes.
of it and its followers?
For sure.
Okay, so he does not know the alignment of it and its followers.
No.
As he had a 5.
Okay. But you're in a place that would have knowledge about this.
Yes.
So
he goes to this chapel.
There is indeed, there's a priest inside the chapel.
Cobb slowly struts up to him.
Mm-hmm.
His robe, grey robe, laid behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He kneels down before the priest.
Welcome, kind soul, to Blumenkranz's many, many offering sites. What do you want to offer to Gutenberg?
He looks into his stuff.
No, that's not a material thing.
Oh. He takes out his arcane focus. And he takes it out with a little stick, a little mallet, and goes. And he listens around, but there's no echo.
There's no echo.
And so he puts it back, and he thinks to himself, "Oh, it appears this is not the place I had hoped to be."
No? But the chapels of Gutenberg are always a safe place.
Safe place is not where I would like to be at this point in time. Do you happen to know where...
Do you mean spiritually or physically?
Of course, but not for
Do you mean spiritually or physically?
Exactly. I know you asked that. He's like, of course. I mean both, yet neither, simultaneously. I have one last question for a wise man like you.
Alright.
Do you know where Emil Whitticus is?
Emil Whitticus. Let me see.
Does the name ring a bell?
Oh! The man who owns the library. Of course. Of course.
He's like, 1 second. Turns around and he's like, "Thank you, Sustros, for adding an echo of remembrance into this man's mind in order to help me resist fate."
That's why you were looking for it to
And then he
echo.
turns around and
Have a good day!
where
May
do you know
Gutenberg
where
guide you!
do you know where this Emil is?
Oh. Yes. He is down the road, near the outskirts of the village. North.
Thank you.
Follow the road. You should find it.
He leaves.
Good tidings to you. And then he turns to like one of the other people in the shop. Yeah, you walk down and there are just, more people about that kind of give you maybe some weird looks. It's more of the mask that kind of freaks people out.
Because it really does. It kind of conceals like all emotion and facial expression.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes.
And also, the bigger deal is that you're wearing all this these heavy garments covering all your entire body.
When it's sunny.
When it's yeah, exactly. Like people are mostly wearing very light clothes. And usually light colors too.
But his robes do seem and feel damp.
Interesting. So is it water kind of dripping as you walk?
No, it's just damp. It's like a cloth that's been left out.
Okay.
It's a bit damp to the touch. Kind of stinks a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Also, there is no skin whatsoever showing. He has black gloves. He has a ring, a ruby ring on his hand, and he also is pretty much he's completely covered. There's no skin showing whatsoever.
Okay.
He's very modest.
Yes.
Yeah. So eventually you come across a very dilapidated looking manor.
All right.
And there's a sign in front that says, please knock.
He looks at the manor and he's like, huh. It appears that I reflect my surroundings over and over again. Thank you for being an echo once again for me, Sustros. And he goes and he knocks.
And the door opens. And then I'll go back to Dia.
Alright. So after she's had this internal monologue, her head's been facing towards the ground.
Yeah.
And her long black hair has been hiding her face. Well, plus everyone's a few feet taller than her, so
Yeah.
they couldn't see her face. She looks up and I'm assuming they gave her a large bag of money.
Are you still there in the backyard?
Yeah, I'm still there in the backyard.
Okay.
And I throw it back at them.
Yeah, he catches it. He's like, what?
You're
What does
right.
this mean?
I'm sorry. You're right. This isn't right.
You see, the people of Blumenkranz, they're unstoppable. Their spirit. I'm glad you have it in you too. Yeah, go tell the Ruby King. Go tell him you won't follow his orders. Good luck.
And I'm assuming we kept the minimum amount of tax.
Yeah.
I think, would it be 4 gold?
Well, he owed 7, so you have 15 gold right now in the pouch.
Whoops, I'm starting a rebellion.
So, where do you go now?
Well, I guess we'll go to the next home. And I'll change my approach.
Alright. So the next home is, looks about the same, except it has a green trim instead. And
Alright.
it actually has a bit of a garden on the roof.
Ooh, nice.
And there are many beautiful flowers kind of like decorating the path to this doorway.
All right. Are there any daisies?
There are, yes,
Oh, nice.
for Gutenberg.
Of course. I take a sniff of them because they're my favorite flower. Don't know why. All right. I knock on the door. Holy Army of Blumenkranz? Anyone there?
The door opens right away, and it's like maybe a middle-aged lady, and she has like a hairnet. Just like,
hello, good morning to you.
I was just doing some cooking. I will take a break. The Holy Order of Blumenkranz is always important in my house. Come in, actually. Come in.
It smells lovely, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. You can see like the guards that you were with earlier, the two, aren't behind you anymore.
Yeah. They're gonna go tattletale. Who cares?
So, but you and Brahms are there. And do you come in?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. She's like, sit down.
Oh, thank
Offers
you.
Some tea.
Oh, thank you. I gladly accept it.
Yeah. And she's like, so, what business do you have with me today?
Well, it's not a fun word for most people, but taxes.
Of course. Now, I always pay my taxes. It's all good. I don't think I've ever had any bad things to say. I've always been very punctual with my taxes. I always had a right amount saved.
And that's quite the righteous trait to have.
Yes. So what will it be today?
Just the regular.
All right, I can do that. She goes and gets a money pouch. It's like a nice purse with like a daisy on it.
Of course.
Like a embroidered. She probably did it herself.
Yes.
And she like spills it out on the table.
Yeah. All right, I grab it.
Yeah. How's it been? I know the Ruby King apparently is quite hard on you soldiers.
He's ruthless.
Ruthless, so.
To say the least.
Yes. You see, us housewives, we're always talking about these rumors, and the latest thing that came down the grapevine is that the Ruby King's trying to build an army or something.
I think so.
Are those trolls getting out of hand again?
The trolls aren't too much a problem.
No.
We handle them quite well.
Then what could it be for, I wonder?
I wonder that too.
Huh. Well, good day to you. Thank you for visiting. It's kind of lonely around here, to be honest. Sons are all off at work.
Right.
Well, thanks for dropping by.
And thank you for your hospitality.
I hope the tea was okay.
Oh, it was lovely. All right.
Yeah.
I set the tea back on maybe a counter, and we head out.
Yeah, Brahms isn't done his tea, and he's just and he just drinks it all around the house.
Chugs. Because that's how tea's meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah, he clearly burned his tongue.
D4 damage.
Yeah. So as you kind of walk outside, he's just like, what are you doing?
Isn't it obvious?
No?
I'm not following orders.
That's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Those other knights, they probably just went back and told the commander that what you said.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, this matters, man.
Yeah.
Man, sorry, what, Dia?
Yeah, I know it matters, Bronze.
Should we just... What do you want? You're just going to keep going to the houses and charging them the regular amount?
Well, I guess we don't have to continue, if that's what you're suggesting.
Are you out of your mind? We can't do this!
Sure we can. What would Gutenberg do?
Well, obviously Gutenberg wouldn't advise this, but...
Exactly.
Gutenberg isn't in charge, necessarily. The Ruby King is... Well, you have a point.
See? I knew I'd get through to you.
Alright, I'll stick with you. Let's go.
Alright.
So you go to the next many houses, and
Yes.
you charge the normal amount.
Yes.
People are very happy to see... the general populace, doesn't have anything against the Holy Order at all, right?
Right.
And so people are mostly very, very kind, and they give you the amount, and then they, see you off. You had a few more gifts along the way. Someone had some nicely baked bread.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and there was another house that had a very nice soup, and you had a tasty spoonful of it.
Oh, lovely.
And eventually, you kind of reach the end of the block, and you've gone to most of the houses that you need to. There's only like 3 or 4 left. And
Is this the entire town or just the block?
This is like the area that you're supposed to go to in the village.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like there are a couple people assigned to different villages. And
Okay.
You're not the only people assigned to this village, but you
Right.
had quite a large chunk of it.
Okay.
And I think there's 2 houses, and then the third one is a giant mansion. And now we'll go to Cobb.
Cobb steps inside.
The giant mansion.
Oh. Oh.
And,
How world collides.
And so, this man is a dwarf. He's got like a thick, burly beard, of course, as dwarves would do, but he's wearing like half-moon spectacles as well. And he has like an interesting kind of cap on right now. Looks almost like a nightcap. It's like velvet blue.
Alright.
And he's like, hello, my name's Emil. Are you here to look at my collection?
Indeed I am.
Well, make yourself at home. I've got a lot to look through.
Is there any price I need to pay in order to come in?
No, it's a library. Don't you know what a library is?
Sorry, I've been to many libraries, and some librarians are very greedy.
Well, it's easy. You just sign your name. Has to be your real name. No nicknames. On this sheet. And then I'll hold you accountable for any books that you take home. And it's based on trust.
Would I have to write my name if I'm not leaving this place with the book?
Why would you not? Well, I suppose you could sit around and read, but most people take the books home.
First I have to see if what I'm looking for is in here.
Oh, it should be. Take a look. By all means, if you need any help, let me know. I haven't read really many of these books here, but I know a few by name, and I should be able to help you.
Would it be possible for me to buy a book off of you if needed?
Depends on the book.
Are you a religious man?
Not particularly. I mean, everyone here kind of respects Gutenberg and his sayings, but
This is... Do you happen to know of the god Sustros?
He's gonna make a religion check. He does. Sustros, that's the god of echoes, yes?
Yes.
Lesser known deity, but I'm decently well read.
Have you read the book? Its tome? The tomes of this god?
The tomes.
Tomes of Resonance?
I've heard of them. In fact, I might have them here. I have not read them, though, and they're not actually on the list. Should I put them on the list?
No, I'd like to buy it from you if you have it.
Yeah, we could work out a deal. Alright, let's first see if I have it. So he kind of goes and walks up to the main area of his mansion, which is a really nice looking library with like 6 different layers to it. And it has, of course, ladders that you can kind of like move around and climb up to different levels, which he does. He's kind of a short, stubbly man. Yeah, anyway, so he climbs up one of the ladders, looks around.
Could I help him look?
Yes, you should.
I pray to Sustros and say, please, draw me closer to you.
You can make an investigation check.
I will do guidance. And investigation? Intelligence is not my strong suit. 7.
7, okay. So yeah, you look around as well, and you find one that looks like it could be the Tome of Resonance, but you're not sure. Like it has like interesting, the cover has like this strange looking cave that looks kind of like the inside of your arcane focus. And it piques your interest.
I should say my arcane focus is hemispherical hollow shell. It's not really a shell, it's just like a wooden hemispherical thing. It's not a coconut, but I'm using it as a prop. I'll open the book.
Oh, you open the book right away?
Yeah.
Alright. So, open up the Tome of Resonance. just like
Okay,
flip
so
to a random page.
Yeah, no. I have this cool thing. Okay, so he opens up the Tome of Resonance, and he's like, "Sir, you need not look. I'm done. Just give me a few minutes to read."
Oh, changed your mind already?
I have found the book.
Oh dear. He kind of like slides down. He's like, let's take a look.
First, I would like to have a moment of silence with him. And then he looks at the book and he goes to like a corner and sits down with his book.
Yeah, he goes back to like a different room.
And simultaneously casting echoes of the divine he reads the verse, "I was a fool among most until I had realized and began to live by the fact that most productive use of my time on this earth is not getting things done, but rather sitting in meditation, in peace with the echoes of the atmosphere, with our ears hearing beyond this limited world and into the unlimited heavens, your domain." And it's just, upon reading this, he just is completely still.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like, and he stays there and just meditates 10 minutes.
9 minutes into your meditation,
Okay.
you have complete silence, because the dwarf is really, like Emil, he's very respectful. When people want to read, he just lets them read. And suddenly, there's a loud rap on the door.
Does it echo through the halls?
Yeah, I would.
He thinks this is Sustros talking to him in some way, giving him a message. And how many knocks was it?
3.
Okay. He will keep a mental note of that. Because 3 is a very key number in his life. This links directly to many things in his life, such as the Thrine of Octon.
So yeah, you can kind of hear that Emil's now talking to someone at the door. Just like, what? Oh, come in. And in walks 2 knights. And so there's Daya and Brahms.
He does not know. He doesn't open his eyes.
Okay. I assume like you've said it with the taxes. But
Yeah.
I know. He's just like, yeah, I can get that for you. While you're here though, if you want, you can take a look through my books.
Right.
You know, got many. Actually, it's been kind of lonely recently, but a strange man is in there right now, and I'm no man to judge, but his mask kind of unnerves me. But as for a very particular book, take a look. I have some interesting things in here.
Right now, I was actually going to ask. So, you know, there's starting money.
Yeah.
I would have 15, but could I have spent it all on books?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. Just like, yeah. And for taxes, how much it'll be?
The usual, of course.
The usual. And Brahms is like, yeah, the usual. And he's like, happy about that. He goes and he gets like a chest. And he kind of like pulls out like a, actually he has it around his neck. He has like a bunch of keys. And one of them is like, kind of twirls around. And then he opens up his tiny chest. Pulls out some coins. And he's just like, here you are.
Thank you. I have a question. Are there any, like, religious books for Gutenberg?
Oh, yeah, of course I've gotten some. I mean,
Here?
a few of them are ones you can find in the chapel, but I have some that are more rare. Take a look.
Alright.
So he goes and you go to like the main library area, and
Yeah.
you see a guy in full cloaks with a strange alabaster mask. Right, alabaster?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kneeling on the ground in meditation. With
Then
a book.
I will not disturb him. Not because he's by himself, but because he seems a little strange.
Yeah.
His get-up's foreign. Anyways, so I'll just start looking through all the books. Do I see anything that catches my eye?
Yeah, you can find, there's a section on Gutenberg, and like the
Cool.
first few books are like the regular tomes that kind of talk about like the treatises written by, what was his name?
Oh, perfect. He has 7 books.
Ernst Kaiser. Yeah,
Ernst
something
Kaiser.
Ernst Kaiser.
There we
Yeah,
go.
so he was
The first.
The first, yeah. And he was also the first priest of Gutenberg. Wrote down all of these very important virtues.
Yes, the 9 virtues.
Yes, and he wrote them across 3 different books.
Alright.
Like, of course, it wasn't just the things listed there.
Yeah.
He wrote like a lot on them, each going into great detail.
I'll take the first one that has, like, the most... I'm assuming the first one's the most basic.
There are 4 books, actually, that are there. So 3, and then there's the new one that you haven't seen before.
Oh, interesting. Well, now I'm curious. So I'll pick up that one. What's the title of this one?
The 4th treatise.
The 4th.
I've never heard about this 4th treatise before.
Uh-oh. I'm nervous now a little, because I don't want my faith to be shaken from this 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
But, as I'm curious and adventurous,
Yeah.
I open it.
Alright. Right away you can see that like it looks the same as the other ones. Like there's nothing really off about it.
Okay.
It has the same
Sigh of relief.
Yeah,
Right
the
there.
prologue's the exact same. But as you look through, you can see that only like a few pages are filled and the rest are blank. But it's still just as thick as the other books.
Weird. Did he die while writing this?
Do you want to look at the last page that has writing on it?
Sure, yeah.
So it takes like only a few seconds to really find that, and it ends very conclusively. You can tell, like the last sentence, like
it is very much an ending.
Yeah, ends with this. Yeah, exactly. But it's like the end of a chapter, not the end of the entire book necessarily. You can't really tell.
Right.
It doesn't look like he just trailed off and like he stopped writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
It's
didn't
not
have
the,
a heart attack and...
It's not the caves of... yeah, exactly. So, it's kind of interesting.
Okay, so it's at this point when Cobb enters the room during his meditation. He is attuned to the echoes of the divine momentarily.
Okay.
And his question is, who is my savior? Who is the one that resurrected me?
Okay.
And the answer is found in the Tome of Resonance.
Alright, so the verse that kind of like enters your mind is, to manifest one's care, to echo the care of one's God, one must be set apart from this world.
He just ponders this while walking, and then he enters the room. We're there.
Right. Well,
no, you're in the same room.
Yeah, exactly.
You open your eyes and like he's...
Yeah,
I see. He enters the room, or she enters the room.
Yeah.
yes.
At this time. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. And so you're like up on a ladder right now.
I think I'm gonna take out all 3 of the tomes.
Mm-hmm.
Borrow them. I have an idea of what I'm gonna use them for.
Yeah. Emil is just like, gonna borrow one of those?
Can I just take this tome? The 4th one?
Oh yes, the 4th one. He kind of like gives like a weird smile. The 4th one, yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people know about the 4th one.
Well,
probably because it's embarrassing. Well, yeah. You know the story about the 4th tome?
Well, of course I would, but
Then you know why it's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
all right, yeah.
That's why I want to take it out,
Okay.
Because it's just, one of those joke things you do, right?
Of course.
We need our fun here.
And you can't find it in chapel, of course. So,
no, of
it's
course.
One of the only places you can find it. Yeah. That is a favorite of mine, though, so please return it.
Right, of course.
All right.
Yeah, no, I've never read this thing in my life.
Cobb stands up and he's like, I have 5 books to give you to trade for this book.
Oh! I like the way that you do deals. What are the books? Let me see.
And I show him 5 of the 7 books. I keep back 2 of the books.
Okay.
Just so I can use them as bargaining chips if he doesn't like the deal.
What are they on? Like the books, just generally.
Using knowledge as currency.
All about like religion and random ones that have echo in the name or have like cave or cavern or Eldracus in the name.
Interesting. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have actually read the Tomes of Resonance, so this is more than enough. But I'll gladly take them. It's always better to have more in my collection. And he goes and puts them on like an empty part of the shelf.
May those replace this book with something more relevant yet similar in terms of subject matter.
Make a fine addition to my collection.
Yeah. Come back anytime. And what was your name?
Just call me Cobb.
Cobb. All right.
Well, I'm done. I got my 4th tome that I didn't know about.
So I guess you both walk to the
Yes.
door. And you can see that outside is Brahms, and he's being put in handcuffs.
This reminds Cobb of one of the verses that he read in that 10 minutes of meditation. In Dioda's verse 17. The god of echoes heard his sister's struggle clearly as he was meditating at the time. And then verse 18, following that is, this caused him to get up, and he casts guidance on Brahms.
Oh, interesting. Brahms, though, is he's not really struggling anymore, though. Like, they have got the handcuffs on him at this point. The manacles, I guess. But, however, your guidance was not wasted. He shouts out to Daya. He's like, Daya! Just go with them! Just go with them, alright? We'll take this to the Ruby King himself. Just let it happen. Don't try and fight them. You can tell it took a lot of courage to say that.
I am clenching my fists right now. I can't believe these people are taking orders that they know is wrong.
And your thoughts are interrupted as Cobb shuts the door. With us inside. Outside.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so it latches shut.
Who do you think you are?
I'd best not be kerfuffle at this point in time. I advise you not to.
He's my comrade.
The door starts knocking on the door now.
I'm still in here.
Are you sure you'd like to engage in anything hostile?
I'm thinking about it very
He seems
much
like
so.
he knows what he's doing. I don't know what you're going through, but I do have wisdom of the ages.
Right. You have that atmosphere on you.
Behind you, you hear footsteps as Emil runs. He's like, "Out! Out! Out! If there's any quarrel going on with these soldiers, out of my place, please. I don't want any of these books to get damaged."
Is there a back entrance?
I suppose there would be. Yeah.
Let's go there.
I'm not going to be smuggling any rebels in my place. All right. Whatever business you have with the Ruby King and the soldiers, I want out.
I show him my ruby ring.
I never engage in politics.
I show him my ruby ring, and I say, "I forgive you." And then I walk back to the back entrance.
Hold on. You don't know where you're going? And you really don't. It's kind of like a maze.
That's fine with him.
Hold on. Okay.
I have all-encompassing knowledge. There's no point for you to guide me. I have my own guidance.
No, I will get the guards to chase after you. I mean, I don't want them ruining my books, but I also don't want to be caught smuggling, all right? So
do not worry. I am...
Restrain him!
Her.
No, restrain him. He's
him.
To restrain Hob.
Yes,
Yeah.
please restrain me, for that would be of logic. For I guess I am a rebel. All of a sudden. You see, being brought back from the beyond doesn't bring you much luck in the way of fate. If it is fate for me to be brought in for something I did not do, well, let it be. Of course, I will try to reject it if I can, which is what I am doing at this point in time. So farewell. And then he walks off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a rebel. I think he's just messed in the head. Because, you see, they're not after him, they're after me.
Oh, really? Well, sorry to drag you into this then. You can leave out the back. I'll show you where that is.
He actually is wait, he's far away at this point. He's just been walking away.
Okay, so he kind of turns to where you were and he says this and he's like, "Oh dear, he's going off. I will have to find him."
Also, I should say there are Cobb kind of has almost tap dancing shoes, shoes with hard bottoms. So whenever he walks,
Are they
there's a loud.
Are you wearing clogs right now?
But you resolve your conflict with these people without me, please.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I will not be letting you go at this back entrance. You got to go at the front. You got to talk to them. Make it clear that I'm not part of this. Now.
Okay. I'm going. Okay. Okay, I unhitched the lock. Are they still there, or...?
Yeah, immediately do a dexterity saving throw.
12?
12. Okay. Yeah, no, they clasp monocles on your hands right away. And
Monocles?
Monocles?
manacles, sorry. Monocles. The glass.
Yes.
I mean, if they're large enough,
The glass
they can
cuts
perhaps
into your
be used
skin.
as
Wait,
that.
are they my size?
The manacles?
Yes.
Yeah, no, they're your size.
Crap.
Yeah, of course. And you can see that the knight that clasps you, quite oddly, this knight has black eyes. You can see through the through the visor. He doesn't look human.
Well, I'm not human, but that's not human.
But he doesn't look like your average race.
Yes.
Elf, dwarf, anything like that. Yeah. As he puts the manacles on you. He doesn't speak.
I'm just gonna be looking in his eyes.
And you can see Brahms he's being dragged away. And he's just we'll tell the Ruby King. We'll tell him. Yeah, like that guy said, us Blumenkranzers are strong-willed people. He says that with a whimper.
Listen, Browns, I'm sorry I got you into this.
And, they bring you to the castle.
Cool. This'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Although there goes my plan. Because I can't grab it now.
Yeah.
At this point in time, could Cobb make his way to the castle?
Yeah, sure. Why would he go to the castle?
Because I don't know. He's kind of interested in this situation, and the verse that came to his mind about struggle and saving his sister really makes him... He wants to be aligned with his god, parallel in terms of desires and motivations. And so since this verse appeared in his mind at that moment, he thinks it's relevant to him.
So, Castle Blumenkranz. You've been there many times, but this is now a different circumstance that you're going there.
Yeah.
So, there are about 6 guards now. They've all kind of met up, and they're all in the same full armor with like the helmets on, and they all have the same eyes. And they're bringing you there to the castle. So, up the steps, through the main gates, through the main doors, like after the courtyard, and the commander is there. Commander Igor Rauch. Just like,
I knew it! I knew we'd have some rebels among our ranks. You will answer to the Ruby King!
I spit at him.
Alright. Yeah, you spit right in his eye.
Good.
And he's just like...
You will pay for this, but it won't be me that delivers the judgment. It'll be the Ruby King.
Right. I say very sarcastically to his face.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you and Brahms are just dragged up to the throne room.
I'm not resisting or like trying to.
No.
I'm just going with the flow.
Alright. So, the Ruby King's there.
Alright, how does he look?
You've seen him a few times before at a glance.
Okay.
And you've normally been like farther away from this, so you can kind of see him a little more closely. He looks pretty weak. He looks frail. Like you can see like his skin looks really wrinkly.
Okay.
But he has like really long black hair that like goes like to his hips.
He needs a haircut.
Yeah.
I can help that.
He's wearing a crown with like
I can cut a few other things on him as well.
In one clean swipe.
Yep.
he's kind of like sitting like hunched over like this. And he has like his hand like resting on his mouth, and you can see like a gleam in his eyes. He has like a crown that looks like it's made of thorns on his head. It's like black, and it has like a ruby encrusted in the center. And he's like leaning forward like that. In his other hand, he has like a huge staff, a black staff, which you've of course seen before.
Yeah.
Which has like a giant ruby that's like the size of an apple.
An apple.
Yeah. Inside at the top, and he's kind of like has that up like this, and he's just like,
Welcome. I see you're the one who refused my orders. Wasn't it funny, making an extreme order like that, just to kind of fish out the few in the crowd who will disobey my more extreme orders?
Oh, I'm laughing. Ha ha ha.
his like smile dies down after that. He's just like,
That's the wrong attitude to have. I'm afraid.
What, you're gonna kill me now?
No, kill you? No. I don't mean to kill anyone in this place.
Well, then your orders are gonna kill everyone in this nation.
You don't know why I'm assembling an army. You can't make that judgment.
Sure I can.
It's
I
for
just
the
did.
greater good, this army. And
Right.
no one will die if the army is to be assembled the way I see it.
Right.
Now, I cannot have people like you on the Holy Order. From hereby, you are banished. You are banished from Blumenkranz. You're banished from the Holy Order. Go and find someone to serve elsewhere. I don't want you around. You'll disrupt my plans. You see, the innocuous inversion cannot be disrupted by someone like you.
You mentioned something a little bit important, that last bit. Could you say it again?
Afraid it won't concern you since you'll be leaving Blumenkranz.
Right.
Take them away!
Are my handcuffs still on, I'm assuming?
Mm.
Cool.
yeah. And so they take you away, like, out of the castle, out of the city, to a certain point. You're in another village.
Okay.
You don't know which village, really. You're just in a village. And, yeah, they're taking you, like, to the outskirts of basically. And there's a huge forest. Not many people want to go into this forest because of what may lie in it. and they take you near the edge of that forest, on the outskirts of this village. But at that point, Brahms starts to fight. He's like really trying to like wrench his way out.
Also, could Cobb have been...
Cobb? Okay, you would have seen them.
I would have seen them
leave the the castle area.
Could he have low-key followed them?
Yes.
And not be noticed?
He probably would be noticed because he's really...
Yeah, I was about to say, you have quite the get-up.
Yes. he definitely stands out from the crowd, and whenever he walks, he has both the clapping of his shoes and the random noises, as if he's storing a ton of, like a sack of bones or something in his backpack. He probably would be noticed, but I think he wouldn't be acting really suspicious. But should he roll for stealth?
Yes, he should.
He has disadvantage.
Okay.
And no proficiency. But he does ask his god, inspire my soul on delay, and keep it lit like a raging fire. Melodus, 30. 13 plus 4 plus 1. 18.
18. Alright. Alright, yeah, so they don't see you. So Brahms is trying to fight off these guards, and he's not successful.
Right.
Wait, what?
He's trying to, like, knock them away.
Oh, I see. I thought it's like he was fighting the guards and suddenly he was unsuccessful. Okay.
No.
I get it. He's just trying to squeeze away.
He wants to break free.
Mm-hmm, basically. What do you do?
Well, when are they taking off these handcuffs?
Okay, so yeah, they're going near the forest, and then they get to the edge of the forest, and then they're just like, they don't say anything, but one of them takes out a club. The other one takes out a club. And one of them goes to like hit Brahms on the head.
Okay. Can I jump at his knees? Because I'm pretty short and try to protect him.
Alright, sure.
Right, what would that be? Would that be athletic?
Athletics, sure.
10, and I got proficiency, so 12.
Okay, yeah. You're able to jump at the knees, but they still hit him on the head.
Oh, dang it.
And he just like falls over like unconscious.
Well, now he fell over, but...
Yeah. And
wait, Cobb sees this,
yeah.
And he says, he quotes Melodus verse 33 as he says, and he's having a moral dilemma right now. He's like, should I join? Like, I'm not a pacifist, but like I don't really fight, and there's no like this is a bad situation. I don't know what to do, and he's just like, shout out your whims, or I will mine.
He says this out loud.
Yes.
All right. So the guards
to his god.
Okay. And one of the guards turns to you. Yeah. I should say that there's just
he's
just two.
He's not
two.
super close. But yeah.
Okay.
One of them like looks around and he doesn't know where he hears you, but he doesn't like know where it's coming from. But he's also trained on you, so like he's not moving. All right, so yeah, so Brahms is on the ground. You rammed into like the knees of the soldier that was going to hit him, right?
Huh? No, into Brahms.
Into Brahms, okay.
I was hoping to knock him away.
Okay, yeah.
From the blow.
But you were not successful.
What does my prayer give me? Or not like give me, but like what does it? What is the right choice?
What is the right choice? You should step in. Because they have no chance.
Right. So, he says it again, but this time in the mind of the guard that was looking around. But this time it's like ethereal screams that echo around his head for what feels like an eternity.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Does he have to make a saving throw?
Wisdom saving.
Okay. Oh, he's successful.
Natural 20.
Flying colors.
Okay, so
Oh, darn.
it's as if he has. It's as if he knows these screams personally.
In fact, it seems like this mind, you can barely even like feel this mind. It feels like it's mostly just like very foggy as well. So it doesn't have as much of an effect on this particular creature.
Right.
Alright. Are they trying to hit me now?
Yes. So one of them is trying to hit you with a club.
Alright. Stop! I command them to stop.
Alright. So yeah, you command the one that was just unaffected by him. As he's about to swing, he just stops in place. And he's like his fist is shaking, his other fist that's clenching the club is shaking, but he can't move forward.
Oh, you stopped. Look at that. I just try to position myself to get up with...
The manacles, yeah.
True roll initiative.
You can do that. Yeah, roll initiative.
10. Almost average.
7.
Okay. So, you're going to go first.
Nice. Okay, so he's like, he doesn't really like the answer that was given to him, and it was a very abstract answer. He's almost rejecting it, but he feels like he needs to do something still. So he says, Melodis, verse 38, in the light times and in dark a time as this, flex your muscles in the hand of fate. He casts Bane. Both of those guys. It is a wisdom.
Okay. They would both fail.
Nice. So they both subtract a d4 from all attack rolls, saving throws. Attack rolls and saving throws for the duration.
Okay.
So a dark feeling of fate possesses over the... opposes over the enemies of Cobb, blinding them of focus. And this feeling is directly from Cobb's past, something that he has felt many times in the past and has altered his perception.
Alright. And now, since they go, they'll try to, just with a club, both of them, they'll both try and hit you.
Me.
Are you going to roll a d4 and subtract that?
Yes. Okay, so they both don't hit you, though. So you're able to, like, kind of dodge around with your manacles on.
Yeah.
Oh, critical.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
And one of them kind of, like, trips over Brahms, kind of, like, weirdly. It seems like these soldiers are, like, walking almost like Frankenstein, too. Like, they're not, like, they don't have the regular walk that a person would have. And so this one kind of, like, awkwardly kind of, like, stumbles over that one. And you can get an opportunity attack on him.
Okay, that's gonna be a bit hard.
You can hit him with your, like, you know, just unarmed strike.
Unarmed strike?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a d4?
Isn't it just one damage?
Just
plus
one
strength.
damage? 1 plus strength.
Yeah.
Okay. See if I hit. 15.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah. Cool.
And then you do 1 damage to him. So, it's just, so he's kind of, like, knocked back. And then it's now your actual turn.
Okay. Let's see. Am I able to get these cuffs off?
Yeah, you can attempt. That would be a strength check.
Strength check?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh,
No.
6.
You pull really hard, and it's just like they're really stuck on there.
Okay.
So at this point, Cobb, what do you do?
He's kind of annoyed with the situation, but, like, I don't know, pleasantly annoyed. It's a very strange feeling. So this guy who is he was able to resist the screams, but the screams just kind of get louder. It's like they're concentrated in a certain part of his brain. It's like the screams are an entity within themselves, an organism inside of his brain. It's moving around trying to get the weakest parts. He has to do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That'll be a fail.
Or he feels such a horrible feeling, like the feeling of fate, like you know something's going to go wrong, but you don't know what, and you don't know how you can stop it, or if you can stop it. He has that feeling, and then pounding on his brain is incessant screams echoing around his head of emptiness. He takes 3 more damage.
Okay. So this guy, he holds his head, and he's like, "Ah!" And you can hear like this weird noise that sounds like a guttural scream, like a. It's really weird and like non-human sounding, and he pulls off his head.
Oh.
And you can just see like smoke pours out of it, and then headless, they run into the woods, both of them, because that one is headless. The other one like notices him and looks at you, and then runs into the woods.
That was awkward.
And Brahms is just lying there on the ground, and you're.
I'm gonna like shuffle over to him. Check him. Is he breathing?
He's breathing.
Oh, thank goodness.
Seems like they weren't meant to like kill you. They were just meant to knock you out.
You kind of feel the presence of this guy.
Yeah.
Like over your shoulder.
Hello there. Who are you?
I am the one who will not forsake you, nor will I forsake anyone in need.
Well, thank you.
This man, and he holds up his ruby ring, is riddled with iniquity and must be brought down, even if it is against my very nature.
And what do I call you?
Call me Cobb.
All right. Thanks, Cobb. I don't know. Could you maybe take these cuffs off?
Well, I don't really know how.
All right.
And then he takes out his mace and he's like, just brace yourself.
Okay.
Attack roll.
Yeah. Yeah, why would I need to? It's not like it's going to dodge me.
Yeah, exactly.
1 damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
Okay.
do much.
No. What it does is it kind of like you can tell that something like kind of snapped inside it.
Okay.
They're still on you, but they're like a lot weaker.
Can I
You can do
pull
a
them
strength
from
check to see if
Alright.
you can pull them off.
I'll say
guidance? How much is that?
as an extra D4 if you would.
Here you go.
And
Alright.
he says, just take that.
That's enough.
Sweet.
If it's a 10, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you just go, and some chains fly around, and it's very dramatic.
Yes.
As you now have broken yourself free, and the Ruby King's hold on you.
If this is what fate
Who's
has in
laughing
store-
now?
If this is what fate has in store, I will not reject it, for this does not seem like negative ends.
What do you do with Brahms?
I guess we're gonna have to take him somewhere.
Smash.
Yeah, I'll say you succeed in. So it is at this time when Cobb, you get a strange notion that your deity is trying to communicate with you.
Oh.
Do a religion check to see how well you can attune
Alright.
to this.
Actually, could he take 10 minutes to do Echoes of the Divine so he gets an automatic 20?
Yes.
So he just meditates on it, because I feel like that would be more character to just tap into it and take time to.
Mm-hmm.
So he taps into it, and kind of he's thinking of the verse. A verse that seems somewhat irrelevant at the moment, but for some reason it's calling to him. And the verse is Melodius, verse 46, which says, "After death, I will dance among the stars as an echo of my life, and the light I spread to you."
Hmm.
And what does he get?
Strangely enough, it's your deity, and it's telling you to go to the Jolly Badger. Like you get the sense that like there's a place in this village that's very important, and it'll lead you closer to finding out who your saint is.
After a long time of sitting there still, he stands up with a little bit of a sound, and as he rises, he slowly says, "Now to the Jolly Badger we embark."
Oh, okay then. Well, could you help me carry bronze?
That should be of no issue. And he says, "Just attune to your surroundings." And he gives you guidance. He doesn't actually physically help you.
Thank. What? That would
Do
be
an athletics
strength?
check.
Athletics.
See how
All
well
right.
you can like place
9.
Yeah,
11.
11. Okay. Yeah. You're able to kind of like lift him up and then kind of like walk with him.
Cool.
You're surprisingly strong for being a small halfling.
I don't judge my size.
Exactly. And yeah, you go off. The camera pans over you as the sun is setting over this village of Blumenkranz, and the huge woods lies behind you, and it's very, very dark and ominous. But in front of you is this village where people are still about, and you can see that a lot of people are kind of going into this tavern, the Jolly Badger.